Okay, how's everybody doing? Welcome back. Okay, so this is my 50th video, and we are late June 2025. The first half of this year is almost over. That was a quick first half. Um, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and today, as you can see on the screen, I want to talk about the 13 reasons why trading is the greatest business opportunity ever created, and one reason why it's the worst. And it all depends on you of which side of that you're on, the worst or the best. So let's take a look at what I think. And if you think there's more reasons why trading is the greatest business opportunity or the worst business opportunity, put them in the comments. If you disagree with me on anything, put those in the comments as well. So let's take a look at number one. Very low startup cost or capital. I want you to think about, and I'm sure if you're a young person, you've seen people who have businesses, small businesses of every kind, from a restaurant to a food truck to landscaping, window washing, construction, carpentry. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If you went on your local township website and looked at all the different businesses that you need a license for, um, and that's probably another reason I should put in here. There's probably 14 reasons you don't need a license to trade, right? But let's start with number one here. Think about any business you want to start, how much capital you need to get it started, right? A restaurant, you need tens of thousands of dollars because think about what it would. I mean, even if you're buying an existing business, the person selling you that business is going to want money for all the inventory and um, the tables and chairs and pots and pans and silverware and glasses and maybe if they have a wine cellar, you're going to have to pay for all that wine that's in there, right? Anything that's on the bar, all the booze, the beer. Think about a landscaping business. You have to buy those big expensive lawnmowers. Just one of those is what, $4,000 or $5,000, and you need a truck and a trailer, and you got to get licensed through your local government. A food truck, you need to get licensed by the board of health, and you need inventory and the truck itself. Just think of any kind of business you could think of. A carpentry business, you're going to need a van, you're going to need tools, right? That's just, you're going to have to pay the local government for the licenses, right? But in trading, you could start a trading account with like 500 bucks and just trade uh, one option contract. And um, there's no, you already have your apartment or your condo, your townhouse, or your house, or wherever you're living. It's already there. Everybody's got a computer, right? You already have everything. You have an internet connection, right? You already have everything you need to go into the business of trading. You just have to put up a very low amount of capital, nothing like the capital you would need to start a business, right? You starting a restaurant or any kind of business where you have employees, you have to have money in the bank to pay the payroll. Even before you get paid by your customer, you have to have that up front. Your Employees are not going to work for free and wait for you to collect money from your customer when a job is done and then pay them. You have to have all that up front, right? That's tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, so that's the first reason that trading is a great business opportunity is a very low startup cost. And there's a companion reason to this, which I'm going to get to later. All right, so let's go to number two. No overhead, no rent, no utilities, no payroll, no nothing, right? You start a business like a restaurant, you have to rent the spot or buy a existing restaurant, right? What about utilities? You're already living in your home. You're already paying utilities. You're already paying rent because that's where you live, right? You're already paying these things for yourself. It's no extra cost to you to start a business in trading. There's no payroll. You don't have any employees. It's just you, right? It's you against the world. It's you against the trading world. And there's no other overhead. Think of any kind of overhead that you would need if you had a landscaping business. You got to buy fuel and oil, right? And the little strings for your weed whacker, and right, you need fuel for your car or your truck rather to get pull the trailer that has all your equipment in the back. You need fuel for your equipment. So and everybody knows how expensive gasoline is, right? So that's number two, no overhead. Number three, no need to rely on anyone but yourself. Think about this. Think about if you had a business, you had a restaurant, right? You have to hope and pray that your employees come in. You're going to be busy tonight. Are your employees going to call in sick? Have you been in a restaurant lately? Right? There's nobody there, right? Especially these, like a fast food restaurant. Talk about an outlay of capital. If you wanted to buy a franchise of McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or Taco Bell or Chick-fil-A or whatever. I don't know if Chick-fil-A franchises their businesses or not, but McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. Think about, I think McDonald's, to get a McDonald's franchise, you already have to have one, and it'll cost you $1 million or more, right? But if like a Wingstop or one of these other smaller ones, that's a huge outlay of capital to buy a franchise. And then you have to hope that these high school kids are going to come in and work in the afternoon. Or they're not going to just say, to hell with it, I'm just going to play video games the rest of the night. Have you ever been in a fast food place? There's no one at the counter anymore. It's all computerized. They have the kiosks where you order yourself. You're going in to be served, and you're working to get your meal, right? They put you to work, and you don't even realize it because no one's coming into work anymore, and they have the kiosks now because of the high cost of employing people, right? So you don't have to rely on anyone but yourself. If you don't drag yourself to your computer in the morning, whose fault is that? That's you. It's only on you. You're not relying on customers to hire you. You're not relying on customers to be home if you're going to go give them an estimate for work. If you have a carpentry business, construction, or landscaping, or trees, or you have a tree business, or power washing, or window washing. I mean, there's thousands of different small businesses that you could start, right? You don't have to rely on someone saying, "Yeah, I'll be home. I'll be home. Come in and give me an estimate for a new bathroom, and you drive there and they're not home. You don't think that happens? That happens a lot. I had a construction business way, way, way back when, before my Wall Street career. Um, so you don't have to rely on anyone but yourself. This is a huge, huge reason that trading is a great business. Let's go to number 4. No commuting or traveling required. I just said it. If you have a business and you have to give someone an estimate, you have to drive to their house, right? If you have a business like a standalone restaurant, you have to drive to that restaurant. If you have a food truck, you have to get in that food truck and drive to where you think the customers are going to be, right? There's no traveling. You get out of bed, you walk over to your computer, and boom, there you are. That's your commute, 10 feet in your boxer shorts, right? So that's number 4. No traveling required. Number 5, no employees, no payroll of any kind. This is huge. I just mentioned how hard it is to rely on employees. They get sick. They don't want to come to work. They were drunk the night before. They want today off. They got to take somebody to the doctor. They can't come in. You know, I stubbed my toe. I don't want to work today. I don't feel safe in your restaurant. I need my safe space. Whatever the hell the reason is that your employees tell you they can't come in and work. And there's no payroll. You don't have to hire an accountant or ADP to do your payroll. You don't have to do your payroll yourself. Unless you get big trading and you want to trade as an LLC. But then you just, if you're making that kind of money, you just hire a CPA to do your taxes, your quarterly taxes, right? This is a huge, huge reason why trading is such a great business opportunity. No employees, no payroll of any kind. Okay, let's look at number 6. No risk of lawsuits from customers or employees, right? Someone chokes on a pork bone or something in your restaurant and they want to sue you, right? They found a fly in their soup. Your employees want to sue you for sexual harassment or something, right? Not paying them overtime, whatever, right? You don't think when you own a business and you have employees and customers that you're not worried that one of them is going to want to sue you for everything you've got? You don't think business owners don't worry about that, right? I bet you they do. It would worry me. Someone gets hurt in your restaurant. They slip on your floor, trip over a chair. Who knows? There's 1,000 different things that your customers or employees can sue you for. You have to think about all these things. And while you're thinking about all these different reasons, we're only on number 6. You're thinking, how much are you actually making running this business when you deduct all your expenses from your gross income? What are you making? 20%? 20%? Doing all this work? You're working 7 days a week, 24/7. Why 24/7? Because it's your business. A lot of people think when you own a business, it's a piece of cake. No, you're working that business 24/7. You're thinking about that business. You get up early and you come home late. Especially a restaurant. That's a lot of work. And look at any other, and I may not be a physical restaurant if you hire your own chef and you have your own cooks and you're just, being the maitre d' or whatever, and you're just standing there greeting customers, bringing them over to their table and saying hello, how are you? There's no physical work in that. You got everybody else doing the physical work. But what if you have a contracting business and a landscaping business and you're working out in the cold, out in the sun, in the heat of the summer for what? 15% return on your investment? No, thank you. Not me, man. Not me. I'm not working for that. Let's go to number 7. No dealing with customers, vendors, inspectors, or local, state, or federal government officials. If you have any kind of business, let's go back to the restaurant. You have customers, you have vendors, right? All the vendors. Think of all the vendors you have to deal with: the produce, the meats, the spices. How many times you go into Costco to pick up whatever? All those trips to Costco, all the gas you're wasting. I wonder if restaurateurs even factor in all those trips to Costco. I see them in Costco all the time picking up um, pallets full of stuff. You don't have to deal with inspectors, right? If you have a construction business or a carpentry business and you're doing a big job on somebody's house, right? You're going to have to deal with all kinds of inspectors: plumbing, electrical, building, fire, and on and on and on. You got to wait for all these people to come in, give you the green light, or put the red sticker on there because they didn't see enough screws in the flooring you're putting in or whatever. You know, it's just costing you money waiting for all these people. And then there's the local, state, and federal government officials, right? Who knows what they want to take a look at, right? If you have anything where you're serving food, they're going to want to come and inspect your restaurant at any time they want, right? You have to stop everything you're doing and let them in and show them around or whatever. Time is money. You don't have to, if you're a trader, you don't deal with any of this. There are no customers, there are no vendors, there's no inspectors, there's no government bureaucrats who don't know anything about your business, but they want to tell you how to run your business. Right? Let's go to number 8. No inventory of goods or equipment to keep. You think a restaurant has some freaking inventory? Yeah. And that inventory goes bad some days before you sell it. Produce, fruit, meat, you got to throw that stuff away, right? And the equipment, think of the kind of equipment that you need to run a restaurant or a landscaping business or a contractor. All the tools that you need, and those tools need to be serviced. This is all money. When you're trading, nothing. You have, what do you have? You have your computer, a couple of monitors, right? And your internet service. Boom, you're done. But you have all that anyway. You have all that anyway. Everyone has a computer and internet service, right? No inventory. Number 9, no marketing of product or services. I'll tell you, one of the biggest expenses for any business aside from employees, payroll, is advertising. Advertising is so expensive. And, if you have a restaurant and you haven't been, there too long, you haven't been in business too long, you got to let people know you're there. You need to advertise. Not when you're trading. What are you going to advertise? Nothing. Let's go number 10. No competition from other businesses. Now, you could say trading, you have competition. You're in competition with all the other traders, but I would say that's not true. You're in competition with yourself, with your own emotions. But if you have a restaurant, what's stopping another restaurant to open up near you? Nothing, right? How many landscaping businesses do you see in your town jutting from one house to another? I, I can't believe how many landscaping businesses there are all out there, right? Power washers. I see signs for power washers at like every intersection, and on and on and on. Gutters, roofing, siding, construction, carpentry of every kind. You know, closet business. We put in the best closets, right? What's stopping anybody from opening any one of those businesses? Nothing. Nothing. Happens all the time. And then, if you have a restaurant and someone opens up a similar restaurant to yours down the road, I'm telling you, you're worried. You are worried. There was a big restaurant just down the road from me that closed. It was in business 14 years. Closed. And I think one of the reasons why it closed is because they had trouble keeping employees. And it was a busy restaurant. But I guess the owner just said, "The hell with this. I'm tired of reworking the schedule. I'm tired of people calling in sick or telling me they can't work, or because then what's the point? What's the point of working that hard for a 20% return on investment? 25%. That stinks." Let's go to number 11. No hard physical labor. I don't know about you, but I did construction for 20 years before my Wall Street career, and I don't want to do that anymore. Aside from the fact that I'm too old. I'm 63 years old. I'm not going to go out there and start laying down roofing shingles 3 stories off the ground. I don't want to do that anymore. Um, Trading, hell, man. I do physical labor when I go to the gym. I don't want to do physical labor, hauling lumber around and stuff, climbing on roofs, working in hot attics in July in New Jersey. Get the hell out of here. You can trade from anywhere in the world. Can you do your business from anywhere in the world? No. If you have a business in New Jersey, a restaurant, can you serve people in Krakow, Poland? No. No. But if I took a trip to Krakow, Poland, I could trade, right? Unless you have a business on the internet, that's one way you can get business from anywhere in the world. But if you have a local business, construction, right? Um, Roofing company, power washing, restaurant, landscaping, you're stuck. You're stuck in your state. Let's go for the final reason. It's a totally scalable business, right? Now, I mentioned earlier that you needed a very low startup capital to get started. You could start trading with $500. You just have to trade small, really small, right? But as you gain experience, you might want to take a certain amount of your money. And if you're doing well at it and you treat this business right, trading, you can scale it up. You can start adding money to your account from your regular job earnings, or if you're uh, doing well just trading and your account is growing, you could start slowly scaling up your trades, right? It's a absolutely scalable business. For you to scale up a landscaping business or a power washing business, what do you got to do? You can only do so many uh, power washing of homes or so many lawns a day. You can, if you want to scale it up, what do you got to do? You got to buy another vehicle, another trailer, more equipment, and you got to hire people to do it. That's the only way you're going to scale it up. You're only one person. You can only do so much in one day. If you start off as a sole proprietor and you're actually doing the work, right? There's only so much you could do in one day. There's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many lawns you can do. But if you get busy and you have more and more people, if you can only do 5 lawns a day, and all of a sudden by word of mouth, you have five more people wanting you to do their lawn. You can't do it. You can't do 10 lawns in a day. So how do you accept that business? You have to buy another truck, another trailer, more equipment, and you have to hire someone to do it. Is it worth it? You have to think, you got to do the numbers. Is that worth it? But in trading, you just scale it up as you get more money, and you can earn more money, or you could also lose more money, right? And you wouldn't want to scale up a trading business unless you have been consistently profitable for quite some time, and you slowly scale it up. You don't go from a $5,000 account and then your granny leaves you $100,000 and you throw $100,000 in the account. You don't do it that way, right? If grandma dies and leaves you 100 grand and you've been trading with a $10,000 account for the last year and a half, you don't dump the $100,000 in a trading account and start upping your trades by 10, right? You don't do that. You slowly scale it up, and only if you're consistently profitable. Okay, next slide. Now, for one reason why trading is the worst business opportunity. We just went through 13 of the reasons why trading is the greatest business opportunity ever created, right? Let's go and find out what the one reason why trading is the worst business opportunity. Can you guess what it is? All right. It's the worst business opportunity if you don't take it very seriously and treat it like a business. It's as simple as that. The successful traders, and I'm not talking about the scam artists on YouTube and social media who who are scamming you that they're great traders. I'm talking about the legitimate ones, right? Who have full disclosure, fully transparent. Maybe they have their account linked to a third party um, company that reviews their trades, right? I know there's a couple of companies out there you could link your account to. I'm talking about the guys and gals who are legit. I am telling you right now, they take this very seriously and they treat it like a business. If you're not going to treat this like a business and take this seriously and study and journal your trades and review your trades and keep to your stop losses and establish your rules of trading and stick to those rules of trading, if you're not going to do all those things that are required to be a successful, consistently profitable trader, I promise you, trading will be the worst damn thing you ever did. We're talking about your money here, people. We're talking about your money. You have to take it seriously and treat it like a business, which means you start off slow and easy. How many people do you know who started off with a little food truck and they learned that business, they got better and better, and then they saved their money, right? And then they opened up a little storefront, right? And maybe they worked the storefront during the week, and then if there was a big event out in a park somewhere, they brought their food truck out to that. How many stories do you know like that of people who have started off that way, and then before you know it, they go from one food truck to two food trucks to a restaurant to three restaurants to five locations to six locations to 10 locations, right? Right? Because they treated it seriously. They had a plan and they worked their plan, right? You better have a business plan when you're a trader. I guarantee you every successful trader on YouTube has a freaking plan every single day. So, those are the 13 reasons why I think trading is one of the greatest business opportunities, but it's only a great business opportunity if you don't fall for this one right here. If you don't take it seriously and you don't treat it like a business. I'm sorry, if you take it seriously and you treat it like a business, it's the greatest business opportunity, in my opinion. If you disagree with me, let me know. But if you don't take it seriously, it'll be the worst thing You've ever done. I promise you that. I promise you that. All right, so that's it. This is my 50th video. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, put it in the comments. If you think I missed any benefits um, to a career as a trader, let me know. But always, the most important thing you need to do is your long term retirement plan. Every time you get paid, you make sure you put 15% of your money into a long term, prudent growth mutual fund, ETF, whatever. I have tons of videos on how to do that. I have a 7 video series that I kicked off this channel with. Go search for those. Take them one by one. They're all labeled video 1, video 2, etc. Shows you how to do that. That's the most important thing. Trading is not the most important thing. I didn't start trading till I was 60. Right? I took care of all the other stuff. I was working. I couldn't day trade on my job. All right. And I just didn't have the time to swing trade and watch trades, whatever. I did some trading, but while I was working, but not a lot. So, all right, leave your comments in the comments section. And this is Uncle Pete. I'll see you next time.